Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, welcoming you to another live production of Fire Your MD Now, and I say it because I mean it. Your medical doctor may be the nicest person God ever created, but they don't know what's best for you. They only know what they've been trained in, and what they've been trained in is, in actuality, one small piece of the pie of medical science. It's really good for surgery when it's necessary, really good for trauma, but for chronic disease, it is unbelievably ineffective. And according to a new study by somebody in the European Union, they looked at the quality of health care among the 11 most wealthiest nations in the world. And guess where the United States ranked? Dead last. We are dead last in the quality of our health care, even though amongst the most wealthy nations in the world, our health care is the most expensive. So in the United States, the health care is more expensive than anywhere else in the world, and the United States consumer is the least happy of any health care consumer in the world. Well, this is what I've been saying for a long time, what Dr. Wallach's been saying for over 3 centuries now. MD-directed medical therapeutics for chronic diseases do not work. Dead doctors don't lie, right? Dr. Wallach's most famous lecture, if you have never heard Dead Doctors Don't Lie, you need to. A remarkable lecture, which really, set the stage. It was in the Revolutionary War, right? There was the shot that started it all in Boston. Dr. Wallach's CD, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, is the lecture that started our movement here, and it provides or makes up the fundamental backbone of everything that we talk about. You need the right dog for the hunt. MD-directed medical therapeutics for chronic diseases don't work. And in this article, that's interesting because you don't know what you don't know, and they interviewed a medical doctor in the United States to try to explain what's going on here. And, of course, like a spokesman for the cigarette company that tries to tell people that cigarettes are non-addictive, this guy was trying to tell people that the data pool that they used and the sampling that they used was the deck was stacked against the United States to begin with, and it was just a faulty data pool. And in point of fact, even if he's correct, which he's not, nobody ever talks about the real root cause of the problem here. The medical system in the United States does not need to be upregulated. It does not need to be downregulated. It does not need to be tweaked, managed, nor massaged. This is not a problem of management. This is not a problem of insurance or lack of insurance. This is not a problem of the pharmaceutical companies need to be reined in. The problem here is that the philosophy that informs how the MDs look at you regarding your health and or the presence of disease in your body is incorrect. It's wrong. They're like travel agents who think that the earth is flat. You're going to have a horrible vacation if you go to a travel agent who thinks that the earth is flat, right? If you hire a colorblind artist to paint a family portrait, you're going to be disappointed. It's because there's a built-in bias that they're completely unaware of, and again, this is why we exist, because MD-directed medical therapeutics, which are the only medicine that your insurance gives you access to here in the United States, by and large. Certainly the MDs are in the monopoly here, and they have been in the monopoly here since the 1920s. MD-directed medical therapeutics are the only thing that you have access to, and they don't work for chronic disease, period. They don't work. And it should be illegal for an MD to say that they practice healthcare because they don't. They practice disease management. Now, sometimes disease management is appropriate, but it ain't healthcare. And it should be illegal for them to say that they practice healthcare because they don't. While we have been under their care, our health is getting worse. An MD is not trained to make you healthier. An MD is trained to manage your symptoms with drugs. MDs believe that the arthritic joint is the disease. It's not. It's the result of the disease. MDs believe that the polyp in the colon is the disease. It's not. It's the result of the disease. MDs believe that heartburn is caused by some magical incantation, that somebody has put a spell on you somewhere and your stomach is mysteriously making too much stomach acid. Want to see an MD's head explode? Ask them to explain the biochemistry behind excessive hydrochloric acid production in your body. And if they tell you it's genetic, ask them which gene, on which chromosome. They get it wrong all of the time, and this is why they must be avoided. This is why the name of this show currently is Fire Your MD Now, because it's true. You need to. Right? You wouldn't hire a swim coach to fix the $15,000 plumbing system in your house, would you? Well, why not? The swim coach works with water. Swim coach is in water all day. Swim coach knows a lot about water. But the stuff that the swim coach knows about water is not the stuff that he needs to know or she needs to know about plumbing, right? Plumbers work with water, but it's very different. Their knowledge and understanding of water is very different. Well, it's the same with medicine. Chiropractors have a knowledge base that's really good for certain things. Acupuncturists have a knowledge base which is really good for certain things. Ayurvedic medical practitioners have a knowledge base which is really good for certain things. MDs have a knowledge base which is really good for trauma and surgery. For everything else, you need naturopathic medicine. You need a holistic approach. You want an example? I thought you'd never ask. Let's talk about blood sugar metabolism. Type 2 diabetes is on the rise. It is a remarkably escalating, dramatically rising chronic illness in the United States. And the MDs will tell you that it's genetic, which just makes absolutely no sense. Because if a disease is truly genetic, I mean, according to Gregor Mendel, and more appropriately Charles Darwin, isn't survival of the fittest at play here? I mean, if something is in fact truly genetic, if there is a gene that codes for funky blood sugar metabolism, shouldn't the people who have that gene have died out a long time ago? Shouldn't the incidence of truly genetic illnesses be getting less and less and less, and not more and more and more? Saying that something is in fact genetic is a dodge, because everything is caused by genes, everything is caused by chromosomes, right? That's like blaming everything that happens on planet Earth on the sun. Oh, there was an earthquake today, it's caused by the sun. Oh, there was a tidal wave today, that's caused by the sun. Oh, there was a hurricane, there was a tornado, there was a dry spell. It rained cats and dogs, it's all caused by the sun. Well, you can make that argument, and you'll be partially correct. Because if it weren't for the sun, ain't nothing going to be here, right? So, when a medical doctor passes off the causative nature of a disease on genetics, you really need to question their intellectual ability. And by the way, if you ever want to see an MD's head explode and they tell you that something is genetic, ask them which gene it is on which chromosome it is. Now, type 2 diabetes was proven in 1958 to be caused by a chromium deficiency. One of the operative causes, there might be others, but one of the main causes of type 2 diabetes is a deficiency in the mineral chromium. This was published and proven in mainstream scientific medicine. Now, why doesn't the pharmaceutical company pick up on this and just give you a chromium supplement? Because they don't want to cure type 2 diabetes. They make more money managing type 2 diabetes than they do in curing it. One type 2 diabetic treated for 40 years, which is about the industry standard, because of the drugs that they need, because of the testing that they need, because of the doctor's visits and hospital visits that they need. One type 2 diabetic treated for 40 years will profit the medical industry hundreds of thousands of dollars. Remember, medicine in the United States is a for-profit machine. You know, there's no problem making money. No problem at all making money, but when it's on the back of human suffering, when it's when the treatment of your health is intended not to fix anything, but rather just to manage things, well, who do you think wins that game? The pharmaceutical companies win it. The doctors win it. The hospitals win it. Quite frankly, I'm surprised that the insurance companies still support MD medicine. There's got to be some funny business going on there. The insurance companies still make record profits every year by charging you a freaking arm and a leg for medical care. And then they're glad to give a piece of that to the physicians in the hospitals, right? They're all in bed together in an out-of-control, unregulated, for-profit juggernaut that's killing us. Oh, by the way, leading cause of death in the United States, MD-directed medicine. Leading cause of bankruptcy, MD-directed medical therapeutics. It's crazy. So, blood sugar. Your medical doctor will argue that blood sugar is caused by something unknown. We don't know what the cause of it. It's probably genetic. And their methodology is just to give you more and more and more and more insulin, right? You take more and more and more insulin in order to manage the problem. Well, here's what really happens from our point of view. You eat sugar or something that contains sugar. Remember, sugar is not the Antichrist. Your genes, in fact, are made from sugar deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA. The very fabric of your life. Well, deoxyribonucleic acid, the ribo stands for sugar. That's right, folks. The double helix of your DNA is made from sugar. Sugar. That's what makes you so sweet. You couldn't bat a freaking eyelash without sugar. Without sugar, your body never would have grown. Sugar is the backbone of your DNA, for goodness sake. The problem is not sugar, it's how much sugar you eat, consume, and how well your body can manage the sugar that you have just consumed. Doesn't matter if it's fructose, doesn't matter if it's glucose, doesn't matter if it's a disaccharide, a trisaccharide, a bisaccharide, it doesn't matter. Sugar is sugar is sugar. Now, there are some preferred forms of sugar, but sugar is sugar is sugar, and when it comes to sugar, the two things to be concerned with are how much of it is going down the hatch, number one, and number two, does your body have the proper resources to manage it and to handle it? Kind of like snow, right? Well, if you live in the northern tier here in the United States, your town has plows and trucks and sand and has the resources available to handle the snowfall. They don't have that in Miami, right? If it snows in Miami, you're SOL. Stick around. I'll tie this all up when we come back. And we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, telling you the perspective that naturopathic physicians, that holistic physicians bring to bear on the pathogenesis of blood sugar issue, otherwise known as type 2 diabetes. By the way, there are many different iterations of your body's inability to process blood sugars, right? You don't just all of a sudden wake up one day and you've got full-blown type 2 diabetes. From our point of view, it's a slow slide into, ill health. And what happens here with the slow slide into ill health is caused by chronic nutrient deficiencies which build up over time. So your body loses the resources that it needs to metabolize blood sugar effectively and efficiently. So it starts to have funky blood sugar metabolism. So at the beginning stages, you feel a little sleepy after you eat a meal, or your energy just isn't right all day, or you'll have peaks and valleys of energy. You don't have like an even keel thing. Hard to fall asleep at night, hard to wake up, hard to stay asleep. You wake up in the middle of the night feeling like you're wide awake. There are many different iterations of this. You can get fungal infections that don't go away. You can get yeast infections if you're a woman. You can get acne, whether you're a man or a woman. Many different things start to go south when sugar is lingering in the blood longer than nature had intended it to. And the main reason that sugar lingers in the blood longer than it needs to with a type 2 diabetic situation is because your body has run out of the minerals that it needs to metabolize sugar. Now, we already know that chromium is mandatory in order for your body to metabolize blood sugar. Chromium, you need it. So here's what happens. You eat something that's got sugar in it. The sugar absorbs through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream. Now there's sugar in the bloodstream. That's a good thing because your body runs on sugar. When there's sugar in the bloodstream, your pancreas squirts out insulin, if it can. If it can't, you're type 1 diabetic and you need to inject insulin. More type 2 diabetics than type 1 diabetics on planet Earth, thank God. Type 2 diabetes is a relatively easy thing to get on the other side of. We can support and promote healthy blood sugar easily. if your pancreas still has the ability to make insulin. Okay, so your pancreas squirts out insulin. Now there's insulin in the blood and there's sugar in the blood. Insulin sticks to the wall of a cell on a little insulin receptor on the cell wall. And remember, you have trillions of cells in your body. Insulin sticks to the cell wall, and when it sticks to the cell wall, it rings a little bell. It's like someone coming to the front door of your house and ringing the front doorbell. But in this metaphor, when the front doorbell is rung, the kitchen door in the back of the house opens up. So when insulin binds to an insulin receptor site on the cell wall, it sends a chemical signal through the middle of the cell to open up a door to let sugar in. Isn't that interesting? Remember, there's sugar in the blood. There's insulin in the blood. Now the insulin binds to the cell wall, sends a signal through the middle of the cell to open up the sugar gate, and the sugar comes into the cell, and the cell loves it and uses it. It's like filling up your gas tank, right? Everything is good. In order for that signal to propagate through the middle of the cell, once the insulin binds, chromium and vanadium, which is a weird little mineral, and a bunch of other minerals and nutrients are necessary. If those minerals and nutrients are not present in sufficient amounts, the signal to open the cell door does not go. It's like somebody snips the wire. On your front doorbell, and now all of a sudden they ring the bell, but nothing happens. You can't hear it, and the kitchen door stays closed. So in this case, what happens? Sugar builds up in the cell, or outside the cell. Sugar is supposed to get inside the cell, but it can't, so now it builds up. More sugar, more insulin. More sugar, more insulin, more sugar, more insulin, more sugar, more insulin, still not enough minerals. More sugar, more insulin. Finally, there is so much flippin' insulin in your blood that by sheer volumetric pressure, the insulin punches a hole in the cell wall. Literally, not figuratively. It breaks the cell wall, and a little bit of sugar trickles in. Now, is this a good idea or a bad idea to break the cell wall? It's a bad idea. When this continues to happen over weeks, months, and years, the cells become destroyed, and this is why people who have out-of-control, uncontrolled diabetes, type 1 or type 2, lose their toes, lose their feet, lose their legs, lose their vision, lose their nerves. Why? Because insulin is destroying the cells, and what do the MDs give? Insulin. And I'm the quack. Want me to tell you how to support and promote your body's ability to have strong and healthy blood sugar metabolism? It all comes down to minerals, ladies and gentlemen. Feed your body the appropriate minerals. Get out of the way and let the body go to work. More to come. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here with you. The phone lines are all lit up today, as they are every day. To finish my preceding thought, right? So what we do, if you're suffering from a blood sugar metabolism problem, to support and promote the healthy structure and function of your blood, to support your body in its quest to have healthy blood sugar metabolism, the recommendation is one healthy blood sugar pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. One healthy blood sugar pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Bada bing, bada boom. Don from Washington is up first with a question about his lungs. Hey, Don, thanks for the call. You are live.
Doctor, how you doing?
I'm pretty great, Don. I'm good, but I'll get better. How's for you?
Not too bad. I wanted to tell you a little about myself. I've got a decade's worth of experience as a pharmaceutical rep for one of the big pharma companies. I'm happy to say I'm a reformed pharmaceutical rep, though.
Why, listen, man, I would love to interview you on my radio show so you can tell people what that's really like. I know what it's really like. You know what it's really like.
You bet.
But a lot of people in the listening audience, their jaws would be on the ground if they really knew what it was like. Would you be up for that?
I'd be happy to do that sometime. I was a diabetes specialist, so I appreciate your perspective on diabetes.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, it's very frustrating because the research was done in 1958. And then, of course, there have been other researchers over the decades that have done a little bit more here, a little bit more there, but it's all with minerals and nutrition, and that stuff never makes it into the mainstream, and it's a crying shame. I love helping people who have blood sugar issues because it is one of the easiest things, that and high blood pressure are two of the easiest things for people to actually have objective improvement on. You know, I mean, you measure the blood sugars every day. Son of a gun, you can objectify the improvement. You measure the blood pressure every day. Son of a gun, you can objectify the improvement. And really, it's only a matter of time until these two things specifically reach into the mainstream, because you can't argue with results.
Right. No, I've appreciated that since then. I've started giving presentations with a physical therapist buddy of mine on diabetes and weight loss. He handles bone and joint pain. You actually met him and his wife at the convention, Candy and Trent. Her mom and Candy had the Heritage Makers.
Yeah. How about that?
Great
it's a small
people.
World. Well,
That's
listen,
right. Let's get Glidden up here. We'll play some golf with them up here in the Northwest.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to be in the Northwest in August, God willing, and the creek don't rise, giving a lecture in Portland, Oregon, giving a lecture in the Seattle area. Stay tuned for those dates and times. And before we're done, after I'm done with you live on the air, if you could give my producer your contact information, I'll call you in the next couple of days, and we'll set up an interview for the radio show.
Sure, that'd be great.
Oh, so how can I help you today? What's up?
Well, you know, I've been doing this for about 6 months, did the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, then went to Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 with the digestive pack. I switched to the pig pack. I've tried to try everything. And I noticed over the last couple of months somewhat of these asthma-like effects where if I breathe all the way in or all the way out and exhale, I get this ice-cold feeling in the lungs. So I stopped taking the pig pack, which I'm on now, the minerals and the Ultimate Tangy Tangerine, and still taking just the selenium digestive enzymes and the EFA. Seems to have cleared up over the last couple of weeks, that lung issue, but I need to get back to doing something for bone and joint health, digestive, and make sure I'm taking care of migraines. I love being on the product, but the lung issue just started worrying me a bit. So I wonder if you had any, I've heard you talk about maybe the glucose gel and the gelatin. People have reactions to that. What do you think the lung issue's coming from, and how can I get back onto full mineral support here?
Yeah, okay, it's great questions right across the board. Really good questions. So, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a reason for most things, right? There's a reason for everything. Some things are relatively easy to figure out, and others we have to dig a little bit deeper. But the illnesses that you're complaining about here, the illnesses that are affecting your body of a chronic nature here, we can all trace back to chronic nutrient deficiencies. Chronic nutrient deficiencies are always generated by two things. Number one, not enough nutrients going down the hatch every day because there aren't enough nutrients in the soil to support what the human body needs to do. So no matter how good your diet is, unless you're supplementing with the right stuff, it's only a matter of time until your body runs out of something, and then things start to break, and then it kind of becomes a runaway train. But number two, there's another reason why your body develops nutrient deficiency illnesses, and it's completely kind of counterintuitive. Well, it's counterintuitive until you understand it, then it makes all the sense in the world. But consistent consumption of whole grains over time will have a net negative effect. They'll actually cause inflammation and destruction of the intestinal villi and microvilli. And it's the intestinal villi and microvilli which absorb nutrients into the bloodstream. So what little nutrition there is in the food is going to be compromised in getting into the bloodstream if you are a whole grain enthusiast, which everybody in this country is, because we all listen to Dr. Oz and General Mills and Procter & Gamble tell us what to eat, besides listening to people who really have a clue. So this is kind of a long-winded explanation on my part, but, you know, you're a smart guy, so I'd like you to understand what's going on. So the most common cause, or the first thing to think about with that lung symptom, is a delayed hypersensitivity food allergy, which is mediated by IgG, the immunoglobulin G in your bloodstream and your immune system. Now, delayed hypersensitivity food allergies trace their roots back to a leaky gut. And a leaky gut is caused mainly by consistent consumption of whole grains over time. So, you most probably had an allergic reaction to low-grade, delayed hypersensitivity, IgG-mediated food allergy to one of the 115 fruits and vegetables that are in the Beyond Tangy. Now, remember, you only have an allergic reaction to a protein, right? You can't have an allergic reaction to a mineral. You can't have an allergic reaction to a vitamin or an essential fatty acid. You can only have an allergy to a protein, and regretfully, in your case, both Beyond Tangy tangerines are filled with protein. I mean, well, not filled, but they have a lion's share of protein in there, fruit and vegetable proteins, because, I mean, that's just what's in the product. It's some of the stuff that's in the product. So you're absolutely right in stopping that stuff, and it was smart that you stopped those products, right? So the Ultimate Classic, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and or the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0, you can't have until you get on the other side of the gut issue. So we have to do two things here, right? Well, we have to do maybe three things. So, number one, you have to eliminate whole grains, wheat, barley, rye, and oats, and stay away from the other 10 bad foods, because all 10 of the bad foods in one way, shape, or form promote and foster inflammation in the body, and that's never a good thing. So you have to stop eating the 10 bad foods completely, number one. Number two, you have to give your small intestine a little extra support for a couple of months. Now, the best way to do that, in my opinion, inside of Youngevity, is with a product called Mackey Plus, M-A-Q-U-I Plus, Mackey Plus, and the Root Beer Belly. So I would get, for the next 2 months, I would get 2 bottles of Mackey Plus a month and 1 box of Root Beer Belly. And I would do 1 ounce of Mackey Plus twice a day and 1 little package of Root Beer Belly once a day, and I would do the Root Beer Belly immediately before bed. It's a little powdery thing. It's like fizzy stuff, Pop Rocks that we got when we were kids. You rip the envelope open, pour it on your tongue.
Okay.
It dissolves on your tongue, and life is good. Do that before bed. Do 1 ounce of the Mackey Plus twice a day for a month or two, in order to support and promote a healthy intestinal tract, because that's what you need moving forward here. Now, in the meantime, we have to fill in the void here that's going to be created by eliminating the Beyond Tangy Tangerine from your diet, because remember, you don't just need essential fatty acids and minerals. You need essential fatty acids, minerals, vitamins, and the whole 9 yards, right? You need all 90 essential nutrients. So the best way to do that in a hypoallergenic fashion is 1 bottle of the Ultimate Daily Capsules per 200 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of the Ultimate Daily Capsules per 200 pounds of body weight per month. And 1 bottle of the plant-derived mineral capsules per 200 pounds of body weight per month. So I would get the plant-derived mineral capsules, the Ultimate Daily Capsules, the EFA Plus. The recommendation for the EFA Plus is 1 bottle per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And finally, you need the liquid calcium. My favorite, which may not be your favorite, but I would encourage you to try it, would be the Cal Toddy. It's a Super Life product. Super Life is a subsidiary of Youngevity. It's in the back office. It's called Cal Toddy. Cal like calcium, C-A-L. Toddy, the recommendation, 1 bottle per 100 pounds of body weight per month. If you do those supplements, you should have 0 net negative reactions and, be supporting your system with the full boat of the 90 essential nutrients. But be advised, my friend, unless and until you eliminate the 10 bad foods, this is going to be 3 steps forward and 2.5 steps backward. You're going to make progress, but it's going to be slow, man. You need to clean the diet up in order to bring this all home.
Right, and I'm good with that. You think rather than going on the pig pack, does that have any effect, or could I do that, or no, go with the capsule?
So the only thing that then we would need to add to that program, right, to support joints would be glucogel. And I forgot to add that. So you can either do now, the glucogel capsules right now that are available in Youngevity have shellfish protein in them. Now, have you ever had an allergy to shrimp or seafood?
No, I haven't. I stopped the glucogel just because of that, thinking that it may be something working together, but I've never had a problem with that in the past, so I've tried to get on the pig pack, which is the liquid minerals and the liquid tangy tangerine.
Yeah, but you see, the liquid tangy tangerine is going to have fruits and vegetables in it, and you're going to be back in the same boat, right?
And
so you can
clear it up,
Yeah. So you can either do the glucogel caps, and the recommendation there is 1 capsule per 10 pounds per day, right? So you got to do the math, figure out how many you need, and then figure out how many bottles to buy every month.
Right.
Or
right.
if you want to be hypoallergenic again, you can get the liquid Glucogel Plus, because that doesn't have shellfish protein in it, and that's dosed at 1 bottle per 50 pounds per month. 1 bottle per 50 pounds per month. That's my favorite. That's what I use, the liquid Glucogel Plus. That would be the most hypoallergenic way for you to get this stuff down the hatch.
Okay.
So, I'm interested in what your experience is. And remember, right, all things being equal, when we apply science-based, clinically verified, smart, sophisticated medical nutrition developed and delivered by physicians who have a clue, the goal here is that your protocol, your program should be painless, right? There should be no negative side effects. There should be no lung symptoms, no headache symptoms, no nothing. And also, lastly, because of the history of migraine headaches, you may want to take 1 extra bottle of EFA Plus per month. 1 extra bottle of EFA Plus a month for a couple of months. Because as far as we're concerned, migraine headaches are in part caused by a prostaglandin deficiency, and that necessitates more EFAs.
Despite what medical...
Dun, 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 dun. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here, talking about all things holistic. If you haven't joined the live stream, you don't know what you're missing. Right now, there are a number of people in the chat room. 54 people watching online live. Check it out. You can check out the live stream and hear the audio at the same time. drglidden.com, or just go to Facebook, type in Dr. Glidden, fire your MD now. Texas is up next with Alex. Hey, Alex, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Oh, hello, doctor. My foot is still kind of swollen. It looked like the apis is doing a little something, but I don't know what. It's just the foot is going down, but a little. It's slight. Should I continue with the apis?
All right. What strength of the apis were you taking?
6X.
All right. So you need to go online and order it in the 200C strength, okay? Get it in the 200C or 200CK.
200C or 200CK, okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing, depending on where it's made, right? Get 1 bottle of that. If there's a Whole Foods near you, then sometimes they sell it there in that strength. Sometimes a local health food store will carry it in that strength. And I think you just need a stronger strength of the stuff, or stronger isn't the word, but a different strength of the homeopathic.
So isn't 6X stronger than 200C?
No. It's different than 200C, and in the realm of homeopathy, our conceptions of stronger and weaker are completely destroyed because homeopathy bends the rules of physics. Well, not really. Homeopathy works inside of the laws of physics, but the laws of physics that homeopathy works inside of have not yet been discovered. Like gravity. Nobody knows what causes gravity. You can measure gravity. There are a lot of different theories as to what causes gravity, but nobody has yet figured that out. Not anybody on planet Earth, anyway. The aliens have figured it out. Right? But we haven't figured it out, and it's the same with homeopathy. So the laws inside of which homeopathy operates, nobody has gotten a handle on. So what our clinical experience is, however, is that the lower potencies, 6X, 12X, 6C, 12C, 30C, have less effectiveness than the higher potencies, like 200C. So I think you just need to switch to the 200C and maintain the discipline with everything else. And if you do get the 200C, my recommendation would be 2 pellets 3 times a day for 5 days. 2 pellets 3 times a day for 5 days, taken orally, of course.
For 5 days, then give you a call back.
Yeah, call me back, 200C. I'm happy to help and see what happens. I'm actually pretty excited because when you get a little bit of change from a homeopathic, when you increase the potency, it brings it all home. So I think that would be what I would do next, in addition to, of course, maintain the therapeutic discipline with the nutrients that you're taking.
Yeah, I have one other event that occurred. On my left eye, a film just came down, and it's like on the left eye, it's hard to see out. It's like a film over it. And the right eye is clear. So what I was doing when it first occurred was I put the colloidal silver. But nothing is occurring yet. Should I continue that?
Well, is the film something that you can see and it's an external thing, something that you can wipe away, or does it just kind of...
No, I can't. I don't know if I can wipe because I didn't dare try to wipe it, but I literally seen it come down little by little. Every time I move my eyeball left, it follows, and then I could see a little clearly out of it, and I go right. It still follows, and I could still, like on the sides, I can see out of it, but to look straight ahead, it's blurry. It's like a film. It's when it came down across my eye.
Yeah, okay.
In the middle of my ball.
All right, so you need to get... Are you taking the Ultimate Daily Capsules?
Oh, yes.
How many?
6 a day.
How much do you weigh?
Oh, almost 200.
How much selenium are you taking?
Selenium, I'm getting about 12 a day.
All right. If this symptom persists for more than 2 days and doesn't go away, you need to go to, the people that check your vision for glasses. Have them look inside your eye and then report back to me what they found, okay?
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Check that out, Alaric. I'll look forward to your call back. Ladies and gentlemen, hour 2 coming up. My, oh my, how time does fly. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Stick around.